Hello everyone, let's play some Blitz games here. You can send me challenges if you want to play, and let's start our first game. Here we have French defense. Okay, let's just simply development and take these pieces, yes? We can also take the knights and knight f3, just bishop d3 and castle. Or even bishop e2 will work, because if he takes the knight, d4 will be a little bit weak here. But not a huge problem. We can castle and rook a1 can be moved. Okay, let's check. He has to go bishop back. King f8 also move, but that's deactivating his position, right? Now he can't castle, and I will try to bring my bishop on c4. And from f7 will be made threat. And even if it's not, I will take a pawn here, and bishop c4 will be moved that I will play. And I will attack on f7, which will be hard for defend. And now his bishop is under attack, okay. Now he's threatening check from h2 and take my queen. For that, let's defend the queen, and now f7 is under attack. Queen is defending, but let's pressure his bishop because he can't take, his queen will be under attack. Okay, let's see what can we do here. Okay, he took. And let's attack on his bishop. Maybe we can bring another rook into the game, because this pieces isn't that much, so we can just attack on it, right? Okay, what should we play? Probably a rook c1 and try to bring another rook into the game. Probably we can sacrifice bishop on f7, and if queen takes, rook f3 to pin the rook. To pin the queen from the king, from the rook, right? So the threat is bishop f7 to sacrifice that. If he even takes with a king, just his king will be explode. He would lose a queen there, but his king will be explode, right? Just let's be sure he can't protect that pin. And probably he will take with a king. Okay, he's not even trying to take, so rook f3, rook f6 will come there. Okay, let's do it. And h7 will be weak, right? After rook f6. Okay, I thought that he will dead. Let's not hang a bishop here. Let's take h5, and we can even trade the rooks. I will bring another rook, and I need only 2 moves. His white squares are very weak, so I will try to bring pieces into there and use this as advantage. I just weakened all his white squares, so now I can attack even from h7 and check, probably taking the rook. I will try to do that, okay? But first, we don't need to take. What if queen h7, and if he takes the rook or some else move, just from h8 will be made. Check, king a7. Let's try to do that, and after this we will take the rook from a8. Just let's be sure we won't get peg-reg checkmate there. Or I don't need it, because if I trade the rooks, my king will be under attack, and that should be made for me, right? So let's not take a risk there. What if we trade and play g3? Because let's not be peg-reg checkmate there. I am threatening rook f7 and that should be check and I will take his queen, but instead that I take his bishop. Now this, I will say, equal position. I have so much pawns that should help me to win this. So let's not lose on time. Okay, my bishop was under attack too. I don't know, that's called time pressure, you know? Okay, our position was already lost after my time was become low. No problem, let's play another one here. I have 172 days streak. Really good, I will say yes. Let's play Vienna Gambit. My favorite opening here, right? If he takes, okay, he's not taking, so let's pressure central pawns. Bishop c4, and I will force him somehow to take. Castle h3 can be a move. I think he's trying to castle long. Because my king side is a little bit weak, he will try to do that. Okay, I will take with a pawn, g5, it's open. My king is a little bit weak, but he hasn't a huge attack on it. So I will say that's safe, right? Because his king side is closed, he can't attack on my position. Okay, and what if we will try to attack on this queen side, right? Because in king side we haven't anything that we can do and get some advantage from this. His knight is actually very good, so let's try to trade it. If it's not, I will do that instead. Let's take with a pawn, because now this a file is open, so that should be good move, f5, right? I'm not sure that this move just will block this king side a little bit, also the queen, which can't hit some pawns there. But also if he takes, my bishop will be active. So my bishop can do great job here, there too. Okay, he is completely giving me on that white squares. So like my last game, I will try to bring and use that white squares advantage for me. What if we sacrifice the bishop? I think we can do that. Because queen a4, I will threaten mate on a7. And he can't protect this pawn, right? Probably c6, c5, or even if a5, I will take with en passant. That probably should be winning for me. He just didn't thought about when he took my bishop. That's why that should be a mistake. And what should I play in this position? He hasn't opened checks, but I think I need to double my rooks there to get some really good attack on a7, because somehow he can't protect. This d7 is protected. And probably I can make a threat to sacrifice some material on b6. When he takes with a pawn, from a8 will be made. If he takes with a queen, I will take that, right? I'm just thinking about that. If I were rook on a1 and sacrifice another one, and he takes with a pawn, from a8 will be made. I think you saw that. Let's see what will happen there. Rook a1 can be moved. And his time is actually running. But that's a little bit hard position for playing. Queen a6 won't give me something, right? Okay, if he takes, my position should be okay. Let's go queen b5, so now I can take this pawn if king c8, bishop check, or sacrifice the rook from a5. Okay, he hangs a5 because he can't take for the pin. He needs to sacrifice the queen, and bishop e6, king d8, I will take his queen. That should be mate. Okay, he isn't playing and my pre-moves won't. Okay, no problem. We played nice game. Also with bishop sacrifice, right? Okay, now we have Indian game. Let's pressure the central pawns. And I'm forcing him to take the pawn because if he takes, I will bring my bishop on c5. Okay, let's bring this e7 and wait until that pawns will be trade. Okay, which he took. Probably e3 can be a move. Okay, he's wandering for knight a4. Let's go back. I don't want to lose this bishop. That should be pinned here. I can try to long castle. That should be a little bit aggressive. But because I have really good attack on that king side, I will try to bring my pawns here and open this h file for me for attack, right? Let's play d4 because if I take, my queen will be undefended. Let's play d3. Still I can't defend. Okay, he's trying to bring the rook. So I will try to play a4 to defend this pawn. Also f5 can be moved after all that. Okay, he don't let me go that a5, but let's try to trade the pawns. Also my bishop will be on f5 and e4 can happen to just bring these pawns on the center, and castle can happen. Also I will add one defender on it. One more defender, right? The rook on d file will do great job here. Also if that rook were in there. Okay, let's play f5 or not. If f5 he can take the pawn. Because now the queen isn't defending. And also the only defender is bishop on h7. Let's castle. Because if not, this rook on h8 will be undefended. And probably he will try to bring his knight on g6 or f5 because I couldn't take at the time, right? Okay, no problem. Let's use this open check. So probably queen g4, but I'm attacking on his queen. Okay, let's get this h file. Now I'm threatening mate. h4 can be moved here to just defend that pawn. Okay. I would like to bring my rook on g8, but bishop is protecting, so let's remove that bishop. This bishop is protecting g8, and if I bring the rook, now h4 is under attack. If I take, I will lose the rook there. So what if I take with a rook and he can't take because his queen will be pinned? Probably that should be trade, even a little bit good than not to take. Because if I continue this attack, this should be losing for him, I'm not sure, because time pressure is a problem here too. Because this h file is open, I will try to bring this rook on h1. And that should be queen trade, right? Okay, I could even do that, and he needs to sacrifice the queen for 2 rooks. He isn't doing it. So I'm trying to pressure, because 2 rooks somehow is a really good against the queen. Okay, he's blundering his rook, so that's winning for me. Just he has 3 pawns against my rook, but that's not easy to play, you know. f4 can happen. I'm sure he can't take. Okay, but he prefers to blunder mate in 1. Okay, not problem. Okay, he's trying to distract my pawn. And get this center. That's why I didn't take, I would be up a pawn, but that's not need me, you know. Let's pressure these central pawns, also c3 he can go, and that should be all. If I take g7, okay, let's give him this g7 pawn, but instead we will take the rook. Let's take this pawn on a5. My rook is defended and his rook and queen under attack. Okay, really tricky move, also he sacrificed the queen from there. Let's take the pawn with a check. Okay, he resigned, bishop g5 means that... Okay, we have Pirc defense here. Let's play against it. Just defending our central pawns, right? Because here he will try to overpressure on my d4 pawn. So much players doing that, like e5, c5 can be moves. Okay, probably he's trying to remove one of the defenders from that d4. I have triple attack on this f7. Ah, okay, that was tricky. c7 is under attack. That's not that easy to defend. Okay, queen back. Let's try to bring another piece. Bishop b3, yes. I could even go bishop d3. Try to open this diagonal for my bishop. Not a huge problem. h4, h5 a little bit aggressive, but anyway, I will try that. If he takes, just g-file will be open, but he won't take it, right? Okay, I will try to pressure this e6 pawn. Okay, just every squares are defended for my bishop for jump. Okay, we have French gambit here, right? French defense. Okay, he's taking with a pawn, but if knight e7, I thought he would take with a knight. Because why not knight f6? Yeah, okay, that should be moved, but I'm not sure that's really good. Because if I take the bishop, if still not, just he will lose that pawn. If I take, he will take with a check. I'm not sure that will work, because if he takes now, just his bishop will be under attack, and g3 just, I will block that. Okay, let's not let him do that. He still can castle. h7 is under attack. That's why he needs to bring the knight on f6. The knight on f6 is doing really great job then on g6. Maybe I need to sacrifice the rook. Okay, let's sacrifice the rook because white squares are very good for me, so he even not to take because he knows that he will lose if he take. Okay, if he takes with a pawn, just bishop g7, that should be mate threat there. Ah, okay, I got tricked, no problem. Probably that's still not losing, but f1 is defended, so that's why you need to bring all your pieces into the game, because my rook isn't defending that first rank. h7 is under attack, g6 won't help. I will just sacrifice, you know. Rook f2, just king h3, and my king will be safe there. Also I'm threatening mate in 2, 3, or I'm not sure. I have so many threats there. What if g4? Rook f3, yes. Okay, let's attack on his queen, and because I am trying to take this pawn on h7, and besides that, the queen is under attack. That's why that should be good then rook a5, because I will even block my bishop way, which is protecting h7, and somehow my queen can take that. If he sacrifices the rook, that's some move that can help him, but not for all the game. Okay, he blunders his queen, he can't take because 4 pin, and another mate threat from h7 or g7, doesn't matter, that's why he resigned. e5 can be moved. Okay, if a5, just don't think about that. Knight d7 and c5 can be moved, that will help you so much. Okay, bishop a7 was a really good move, because if I weren't played it and take with a queen, d5 will be hang. Let's pressure this pawn on d4, and probably b4. We can do that, right? And attack on his knight. And the queen side, yes? Okay, let's do this. So I will bring another pawn, and because he's trying to attack on my king side, I will attack on his queen side with a pawns, and I will bring another piece. It's just let's bring the rook on a8 and threaten some open attack over his queen. b4 can be moved. Knight e2, yes. g5 can be moved, but I will try to be fast enough to make some trouble for him. Okay, he's trying to trade, which I will say isn't a good move enough, because now this b file is open for me. If I bring my queen over there, that should be hard for defend. Also, that's a pin. Let's defend, right, with a bishop because that's even activating my rook on e-file. Okay, now let's go bishop back. Not a huge problem. Just if I bring my queen on that b7 square and attack on this b file, that should be hard for him to defend. Also, what if I take the knight and threaten queen d6 if he takes the bishop? If he takes this light square bishop, just I will take with a check, and that's probably should be good for my position. Okay, let's take first with a check. He can't do anything there, so I don't think that's a fork, because queen d6, and if he takes the rook, queen b4 check, and this c file is protected, he can't ram, he can't also go back. King d3, queen c3 mate. That's a rook sacrifice, right? c3 even won't work. Okay, and that's mate. We are getting some high rated allow there. What if d5? Okay, his pawn is undefended, so let's try to attack on it. Okay, you can take the knight, why not? a3, let's force him to do that. Okay, he's still not taking. Let's pin this. If he just go h6 or some moves, I will take, right? Bishop a3, just my pawns will be doubled there, also my rook will be open, but not a really good for that. Okay, let's take and open g file or not. Probably the idea was that he was trying to open this g file. Okay, he's sacrificing there. Knight h4, and he will try to mate, right? Let's attack and don't let him do that. We are up a figure. Queen h4. Oh, okay, even that. You saw, because pawn can't take because that was a pin. This bishop is doing great job. I would be happy if I just go knight a4, but it's because a7 is protected. What should I do there? Knight f4 can be still threat, so let's defend this f4 square, so his knight can't jump. Also, what if we try to take the knight? He will take with a rook, right? Let's overprotect my king side for bringing another pieces into the game. Okay, there is just g2 is very weak, but there is no problem because only his knight is attacking on it. Okay, let's try to open this a file, which I did, and that probably can't be that much good for him, because if I attack on it, I will take the rook, and his bishop is hanged too. If you are trying to do something on king side, don't open queen side, and like opposite. Okay, he just needs to bring his bishop back, probably trade. Okay, but that's a position that probably the bishop could be a little bit good than the rook. I'm not sure, but that depends what he's trying to do, what's plans in his mind. I will bring the rook and attack on it to distract his pieces from my king side. Also, these two knights and the pawn doing great job here. Probably queen h3, but because my bishop is protecting the white squares, I'm happy to see that, so my rook can jump on this queen side and create some attacking plans there, right? Here he can't do something about my king side. Maybe let's think about sacrifices. That's not even work because my white squares are really good defended here. Okay, he went back. Is there anything that I need to think about that or not? I think that's still not threat, so let's create some threats there. Let's trade the rooks so he won't have pieces for attack. Queen c8 check, yes. If I went, my knight back from g2 will be made. Let's defend the knight because if I went the knight back from g2 would be made, how I said. What if pawn takes, queen h5? I can take with a knight. This h3 is a really good defended, so I'm happy to see that because queen h4, just h3 and g2 would be made threat. But now he can't do anything because h3 is defended and under control. His time is very low. What should he will try to do that? I will go bishop e6. Okay, let's trade and get some simple position there. Not sure what he's trying to do, but we'll do that pre-moves. He sacrificed the queen. He was up figure, right? He's trying to stalemate. But that won't happen. Okay, his time runs off, but anyway, my position was winning there. d5 can be moved. Let's see what he will gonna play. Okay, bishop b5, knight c6. And my pawns will be doubled, but because that's hitting on the center, I will say not a problem for that, right? Let's bring the queen and I will bring the bishop, try to bring my rook on a8. Okay, let's do that. His queen can jump only d6, which he's doing, and after this trade his knight is under attack. I will take with a bishop. They gonna trade or if not, just he can't bring the bishop out because b2 will be hang, and if I take that his knight on c3 and rook on a1 will be under attack. He will lose one of materials there. What if I bring the knight? Just piece activation. That's not made. That's all squares are defended from my queen. So still he is using it because I couldn't take this b2 pawn. This square on d8 will be undefended and that should be lost for me after that. Okay, let's trade and now my bishop is active. I was trying to do that. His knight, I will say, is under attack, because I will open his king side. Probably I don't need it, but let's see if he can protect or not. Okay. I will try to bring my pieces on his king side. Try to create some threats there. Okay, only move king h7. Okay, the bad thing is that I can't bring my queen into the game. I need to lose some moves to do that. What if I sacrifice the rook? His rook is under attack, but he has to keep it on that first rank, because I will threaten mate on that a1. I think rook c1 can be good move. Okay, let's attack on his bishop. Bishop f4, probably g5. I'm not sure why he sacrificed. Let's take with a king, because if we take with a pawn, that no other move, no other piece will protect my king, right? Ah, okay, that was a queen trade offer. No problem. Okay, let's defend this pawn. So his time is a little bit low at this time. c3 is hanging. Let's offer pawn trades. My king is still defending really good on that diagonals, which his pawns were a little bit with each other there. If I take the rook, he will make a new queen. So let's not do that. Let's see if he can win or not. Okay, let's resign. We'll play another game, why not? Let's respond with okay, c5. We are playing against French defense. c4 can be moved right. Let's get these simple trades. a3 can be moved. If he takes with a pawn, just his bishop will be hang. Let's see if he can do that or not. That's a bishop sacrifice or not. If I take, g2 will be hang. Not a problem. Oh, okay, now I can't go bishop a4, which I tried to do. But not a problem. He's up a pawn, but my position is really good. He can't take the rooks in this position. Rook g1. Probably if I trade some pieces, my king in the middle can't be a problem for me. Bishop d4, because g6, he has a dark square bishop to defend that position. Let's bring the knight into the game. Okay, still I don't want to take. What if b5 just for kick his bishop, and also a7 is a hanging. What if we take and play b6? My bishop wants to do any job there. Let's try to take this b7. I didn't do in the past because bishop i4 just knight c6 could be moved there. But now because c6 is defended, I'm going for it. If I take the pawn, that should be fork. Let's go c3. I think I trapped his knight. Yes, these all squares are defended. I don't know even I need to take the knight or the pawn on b7. If I take, that should be trade. Let's take the knight on c6 with a pawn. Okay, and another pawn. Okay. If I move my bishop, rook a1 check, and I will lose my rook. Let's sacrifice the bishop to protect our bishop. Our rook, sorry. Still our pawn structure on the center is a good. I lost the rook here so bad. Just that was a winning position for me. Okay, no problem. Let's play another 3-minute game. If you want to play, send me challenge. Let's play d5 there. e6 and trade, right? Let's defend with a bishop, because if he takes... Okay, let's take with a pawn. I think that's still really good defended. Bishop f5, my bishop will do a great job there. Knight c6, also knight d7 could be moved, and after that knight b6. Okay, let's attack on his bishop, because his bishop is doing great job there. And now he's blocking the rook from activation. Okay, I have to go back with my knight. g6, that's still defended. h7 he was trying to mate, but if he takes the knight, just h7 would be undefended. I will lose a piece there, but I saw that in time. Bishop f5, e4 can be moved. e4, knight a8, and he can't take the bishop. And even I'm attacking on there, right? Let's sacrifice the bishop, because if he takes, another knight is hanging. f6 is defended, he can't fork. And another hanging piece. Let's take with a queen, because if I take one of these pieces, just there should be a pin, and if I move that piece, just I would lose a queen there. always see attacking moves, and I'm seeing that he can't bring his knight forward and try to create some threats there. Let's go knight a5, because after c7 will be lost, f7 will be defended. The pawn is hanged, he's not even trying to take this pawn, his rook is under attack. Okay, he's missing mate. Let's take that happily. He needs to take another rook. Okay, we have Caro-Kann defense. Let's try to play alien. Alien gambit right, bishop f5 is a really annoying move when you are trying to sacrifice your knight, and even bishop g6, but if bishop g6 just they're somehow going knight a6 and doubling the pawns. Let's sacrifice the bishop. Let's be sacrificing the knight, and let's get this bishop traded, because if it's not, just that should be at this diagonal defended, and that should be not easy to attack on it, right? And now we can check. Queen a8, just that should be loose. King a8, okay, I'm winning a queen there. And king d8, and that's a fork. What if rook a1? If he moves the knight, I can take this h7, h6, because his knight on f6 would be under attack at the time. He's trying to do something with his knight, so let's not let him do that. That's just because his knight is active. Let's just attack on it and make it disactive. You need to think about that. He lost a move there, you know. Knight d5 he went. And probably he missed that. I'm defending a2 two times. Let's check from f7. My queen was under attack, and a5 will be check. King a6, right? c5 or not? Because I'm trying to mate him. Let's open this position. That's still a little bit hard, but I'm up 7 points material. I will win anyway. His pawn was hang. His bishop isn't guarding that anymore. What if rook c1 and sacrifice? I'm not sure. But first let's be sure we won't get Pekrike checkmate. My bishop is hang, because that would be pin, and my pawn just can't take the rook if he takes that, which he's trying to do. What if he sacrifice the rook or not? I think not. I don't need that, because now I'm attacking on his bishop, and from b7 will be check and mate after some moves. He has to lose his bishop there. Okay, that's still hanging, but the difference is now from b7 wouldn't be made. The knight is really good defender for him, so that's a little bit hard to mate. Okay, but anyway, because he was down bunch of figures, he missed mate in one. Probably he did that. Okay, I'm giving you the win. Goodbye. e5 right away. And c6, just simple development. And just trying to defend all that figures and pawns. We can take this pawn and b5 because I'm forcing him to play 3 moves with his bishop, right? Knight b7 for protecting queen c7 and e5 to open this diagonal, which will open my bishop on that c8. Okay, let's try to do that. Bishop g4 or not? I think not yet, because bishop g4 just f3 will be a move. f3 will weaken his a3 square, so let's defend for let's try to attack on that e3 square, so f3 can't happen in this position. He is trying to move his knight on c3 and open attack on my queen. If I move the queen, he will trade the knight and the bishop with my knight, and h7 will be hang. Probably he is trying to do that. Okay, which he did. Let's go back. His rook is still under attack, but because my queen was under attack, I have to defend that. That's with a check. Let's take. And f3 won't be here. If he defends the rook, just I will play a5 and his bishop will be undefended. He can't also take, we lose the bishop there. Okay, that's pinned right from his bishop. What should I play? Because d1 is protected, he can't bring the rook on d1, and let's sacrifice the bishop, because if he takes, I can even, after this trade, play rook g8 and sacrifice my rook. If he takes, that should be mate in one. Just h3 didn't need there. Well, let's take with a queen and rook g8 can be moved. Because all the squares are defended. Rook g8 and I will take, that should be mate there. Well, let's play another 3 minutes. Okay, we are playing about 125 rated high rated players, but he didn't want to play with us. Okay, we have really good center. Let's get some activity. Probably he's trying to go d4, because that should be a little bit hard for activating his pieces. Okay, if he takes the knight, let's not let him do that. Or why not? Let's let him do that. If this rook will be on g, f7 is hang, but bishop h3 is sacrificing the rook, and we bring it back, right? What if we take the pawn? Because if we get some trade, my rooks is doing great job here for sure. And f3 is hang. If I take, I will try to create some mate threats. That doesn't mean which rook he will try to take. His position is exploded, right? Let's take. If he takes with a bishop, my rook and my knight is under attack. And the bishop. Let's get this bishop back. Okay, let's design Boris down a piece there. Another French defense. Well, hello, bro. My voice was gone. How are you? Okay, after this game, yes? You will send me challenge, okay? And let's bring the king on h1. I can take that, right? Which he did. He's up a pawn, but now my position is active. Okay, that was open attack. No problem, let's bring the knight. We can take this, right? And I will try to bring c6. Probably only 7. I will force his king to go h8 and we will see. Okay, let's do that even e5, but what should that do? He's trying to take my kingside pawns, queenside. Am I needed or not? Okay, let's not hang a mate in one move. g2, I just defend it with my queen, okay? I'm not sure what should I do. Probably let's bring the rook on that active diagonal. Okay, I can't just defend this all, and the thing is that I can do, I think, attack on that squares. And what he can do, probably fork my rooks. Let's not let him do that. But how can I protect that square? Also, I think he will try to bring his queen on that h file and mate him from h2. Okay, which he's doing. I think he can check, but how can that help him? Just king g1, right? King h2. Just he would have another check from nowhere. Okay, he's sacrificing the knight, but that just I don't think can happen. Okay, that will be with a check. Probably I thought I can sacrifice the knight on g6. That should be mate idea. And that should be really good actually, but there is won't happen because he would take with a check on d4 rook, yes? That's why. Okay, he's overprotecting f7, trying to defend his position for 9 seconds because my time is low. Okay, I think that's losing, right? Okay, sniper rook chess, send me challenge. And let's play. Okay, you are not on chess.com yet. Okay, I will wait for your challenge. Send me and let's play. Let's wait 1 minute and play, okay? Okay, now he's on that chess.com. We can even send him challenge. He likes to play 3+2. So let's send him that. Okay, accept and let's start to play. Serious opponent, really. Okay, I accepted. Okay, let's start this game. Okay, just last second. He played right. Anyway, that game would be adopted. Bishop f5, we have nice diagonal. Also he has, that's why we need to bring the pawn on e6 and bishop d6, right? We can trade some pawns and figures. Probably he will try to push that, right? But because now b file is open, I don't know why he resigned. Okay, why you resigned? Let's send him rematch and ask him about that. No problem, let's play another 3-minute game here. That since he isn't accepting rematch, probably he was in a hurry. Okay. We are getting to beat that 1700 rating. Okay, let's start to play. Let's get at 1700 after some games. I'll return our old and gold rating. Okay, that seems there are no players there. Okay, that was unrated battle. That's why there is no much players. Let's open with Sicilian here. And French Sicilian, right? Because for that e6. And then d5 to bring these pieces into the center. Knight f6, if he takes, I will activate my pieces and he will lose some tempo, right? If opponents trade some pieces, and that won't help him. That should help me. Because when you are doing a move and you don't understand why you do that, because that seems that should be good, but really that will help your opponent. Be careful about that. The pieces activation is a really good then. Some piece up. Okay, now I sacrificed this pawn, but he's not taking because he knows if he takes, his e-file will be just exploded. But now he's trying to add more attackers and then defend, which should be a right idea over there. Okay, now I have this really good b-file. So what if bishop b5 to attack on his queen and force him to go back? That's why he will lose a move there. Let's bring the rook, and now he can't move the knight, he will lose the rook. That's why he is opening another rook's way to get out from that pin. His knight is really good defended, so we will try to play c5 after all this and try to remove his defenders. That's why he's protecting c5. Also, he can jump with his knight. Let's try to defend that square with a bishop, because two knights when were there, that should be really bad, I will say. What if we trade and defend the bishop with my rook, because my rook would be under attack at the time. The bad thing is that now I can't move the bishop, that should be pinned. Probably if I were black, if I were right, I will try to attack on that position and try to get something from there, but this won't happen. Let's check him from f2, a2, and now that second rank is mine. I will get out rook from e2, because if I check with a bishop, that should be undefended. Let's see if he cannot take the bishop or not. If he takes, d4 will be hang. But anyway, I would happy to check from a4, and then g2 would be hang. And h2 would be very weak, so I would take that in my another move. Okay, two pieces are under attack. Okay, let's take two pawns there. My kingside pawns is really good, but he's trying to attack on my position, right? That should be hard for play, and because I had two pawns against his knight, when we trade the rooks, that should be I can reach even draw, you know? But because there are some pawns and pieces, that should be hard for play. Okay, and his position is a little bit overextended. There are no backrack pawns that defending his position. Let's check. He did 3 moves with his knight. Just in the opening, that's not good idea, you know? Just in that 3 moves you can just bring your pieces out and bring your king to safety. Don't play in the opening 2 or 3 moves with same piece if there is no attack. Okay, and this time probably I need to take and knight g6, right? Because that's opening my queen and I'm forcing him a move to get his rook back, and even I'm getting this open e5 for me. You need to create plan, and if you are having a really good position, the plan is coming to your mind automatically. Now I have really good protection on this e5. So what if I jump there? For sure I'm not creating any threat there, but because that's active and that wasn't counting c5, I will bring the rook into the game, and that should be attack on his position. His knight is active there, right? So the knight was defended from the pawn on c4. That's why we need to get that c4 pawn. And because that's defended by the b3 pawn, we need to just remove that pawn chain, which is really annoying. a4 can be a move. If he takes, his pawn on c4 will be hang. If I take, he will take with a pawn, and probably f6 can be a move after all that. And if he goes f6, my position will be a little bit open for his figures. That should be really easy attack for him. Let's not let him do that. What if I take the pawn? He will take with a queen, and this position is still defended. Let's attack with one more piece. Also c4 is well defended, but I sacrificed the queen, I don't know why. Let's see if he can take. Well, he took. Really bad blunder there. Okay, e4, e5, we have Diana Gambit there. And so that's mistake knight f6, because it's helping me to get this really nice pawn chain there. And now f file is open. I will bring my bishop on c4 and castle, right? And from f7 will be a little bit weakness about that. I can't take that pin, but then passant can work here, why not? Okay, let's castle. He can't castle yet, which I will try to use that as my advantage. Bishop a6, knight g5 can be moved, and I will try to pressure his bishop. Probably, if that were, I would take a pawn from that position, right? That was pinned, but because my rook was under attack, I am attacking his queen, and my position is still very good. Let's see how he can respond. Okay, not problem, bro. Probably you disconnected, right? We will play if you want, okay? Well, let's attack on his queen, and because we are getting some tempo there, because when you are attacking and forcing him to go back, that's forcing him moves for him. Let's see, he just played 3 moves with his queen, and besides that, now our position is really active there. And we can sacrifice the knight on f7. We can take that rook if he takes, but if it's not, if it defends it somehow, his bishop on a5 will. Okay, if I take, his pawn will be under attack. If you take with a bishop and king h7, there is just, I think, can't be anything that I should do. Take with a knight, and if he even moves his queen, just some open check. Okay, bro, no problem. If you be ready, if you finish your work, say, and we will play, okay? I have this open check. Okay, he can't take my queen because that was a with a check. Okay, bro. Have your lunch. Now I have really good activity on his position, so I will try to create some mate threats, because I don't want to hang my bishop. Let's take this c7 pawn with a bishop. Okay, d5, because if his knight isn't guarding that d5, if I squares, I will bring my bishop over there, and g7 should be under attack. Okay, I need to go back. d2 can be moved because now he can't. I mean, he can take, but because he's down a piece, that shouldn't be okay for him, you know? Because he's down 2 pieces, and that's third piece. We can even try to trade the rooks. My time is a little bit low than him, so probably that's why he is still playing. Probably try to make me time out, but that's made anyway because g7 and h7 were defending. Okay, very well played. Let's play another one. e4 this time, right? We have Vienna gambit here. Let's go knight f3 to prevent this queen h4 check. Because check, I couldn't go g3, right? Okay, not a problem. Okay, bro, I will play next game with you. Be ready, I will send you challenge. Okay, my knight wasn't guarding after, right? Okay, send me challenge and let's play. Well, I accepted your challenge, but I think there is some problem. Okay, I will send you challenge. There is probably some problem about chess.com. Okay, I sent. Let's start this game. Scandinavian defense, let's play, why not? Let's take and queen a5. Why I don't love that Scandinavian defense? Because your queenside pieces is going forward so fast. So now I can castle and my rook will be in this open d-file. And also I don't need to take the bishop. I will automatically activate his queen on d3. And his pawn is hang. Let's take and then with the rook, right? If he takes, just h12 will be open, but probably he's thinking about queenside castle, right? He moves his queen and even also queenside pieces. Okay, that should be right fork. What if e6? e6 because somehow that should be open check from f5 and my rook would be hang after all that. Let's take with a check to not lose something from there. Bishop b4, try to attack on his knight. If I take, his pawns will be double and his queenside will be very weak, also the king on queenside, right? So what if we try to bring the rook on d8, attack on his queen? But first let's see how he will gonna defend. If he defends, for example with a bishop, just a2 will be hang. So I think he needs to move his knight. Because if I take the knight, a2 will be hang. If he defends it somehow, I think knight e2 could be moved there. But he probably misses that. So if my knight were in f6, just rook d8. Okay, if I check and play rook d8, I will take his queen. How he cannot defend? Probably b3 to defend that a1, but anyway, rook d8 can be moved anyway. I think I can just try to this trick, right? Because if queen e1, that should be mate and he can't get his king on d-file and there is no defense. Okay, b3 really good move, how I said, but the problem is that now I can attack with my knight and okay, no problem, I lost a pawn, but because you don't need to take that pawns or figures when I'm giving to you, because now I have really good attack on it. If I check, the only thing is that I can't mate. His bishop is protecting a1 square. What if I check? And okay, that's mate. I'm gonna miss that somehow. But I found that. One more game, bro. Or not. He actually played very well. In the end of the game, I was up only pawn. Okay, no problem. Let's start to play another game here. Our rating is getting lower. But I don't care so much. E3, D3, I thought he would play. Code defense. Really bad defense. I played only one time that crazy opening. Really? What move was I brilliant? Let's try to remember that move. Brilliant move. What should... Can you write the move? Castle. But why brilliant? What are you sacrificing with castle? I thought that should be okay at the time when you castled. But why brilliant? Then it shows you pin my queen to rook. Yes. But I think computer says brilliant when you are when your one piece is undefended and you are doing another move. Okay, I will see that after this. Okay, can happen, why not? There are some programs that I am analyzing my games and there is thing like some hilarious brilliance that's not even inaccuracy move, you know? That's really bad move when you are just, if I take the rook, that should brilliant. Just chess kid and winter chess. They chess analysis programs which is saying really bad analyze and very different from chess.com. Very simple moves, they say that should be brilliant. Okay, that's really good that you has brilliant against me. Knight g4, try to take the bishop because his dark square bishop is active, so if I take, he has to take with a pawn. Because my rook is defending, he can take with a queen, and which weaken his g3 square. So I will try to do that. Okay, that's with a check, let's take with a check. Okay, if you want to play, send me a challenge after I will finish this, okay? And he has a little bit weaknesses, so I will try to attack on it. A3 is a isolated pawn and there is some central pawns. Okay, let's not hang a mate there. G6 because F6 can't work. Just because that was a pin he can take. If I take this free pawn, H6 and G7 will be undefended. I will lose after that, okay? And what if queen d7 after h6? Probably f5. My time is actually low. Probably I need to do some pre-moves there. Queen f6 and okay. That's all about time pressure. I was fast at some time, but not in this game. Okay, I'm sending you a challenge. Okay, let's start to play Scandinavian defense or Sicilian, I'm not sure. Probably Sicilian could be good. We have Alpine defense. Let's respond it with Sicilian French defense. Why French? Because e6 is just typical French, right? And French defense player will play this so good, this because that's like Alpine Gambit, and we are playing like French defense and mixed with Sicilian defense, right? In the other position I would try to bring my bishop on b4 and take the knight. Somehow that's a need, like how he did. But because these squares are weak, I don't want to trade the bishop. Because if he somehow go with his pieces and try to make some advantage from there, just he can't, right? I will take, and then his pawns will be isolated, and then with some weakness I'm trying to trap him if he short castle. I think he won't. I think he even don't castle. Okay, how I thought, because queenside this b file is open, that should be hard for defend, and he's trying to attack on this king side. So let's don't waste the time and attack in his position, because his king in the center, I can't explain you that moves. Rook b8, b2 is under attack, right? Because it's king in the middle, I will try to create attack on it. What if f5? That will cut off the queen from that king side. And if he takes with en passant, that should be another good move by me. Okay, a really good move, knight g5. He's trying to open this h file. If I take the pawn or go forward, this file will be opened with, for his queen, and somehow he will try to mate from h7. That's why we need to kick the knight. Okay, that's a fork, but I'm not thinking that should be a right move, because he's giving his really good knight. Because rook is 5 point and knight is 3, but his knight was actually really active there. He gives it to me, and my rook on f8 isn't doing anything there, so now his kingside is a very open, and because my bishop is doing great job here, I will try to bring another pieces. For example, this bishop, which is hitting h4 square. Probably he missed that, let's take, and he can't move his king, just every square is protected. So queen f2 and then mate I can't do even pre-move or not yet, because I forgot that he can take with a rook king d2, right? Let's check one more time if or not. Or I can check and bring my rook on f5. I'm not up anything here. Justified trade, probably that should be draw, I'm not sure. And even his king is safe here. This rook is guarding d3, so other way I will try to bring my bishop on d3 and that should be pin, right? Okay, that's attack on my position, but because a5 is hang, let's take f5 is under attack. Let's take with a pawn, knight is hanging too, but after check the knight is hang one more time, so not a problem. We will try it which time we choose. And he's blundering mate. That's a mate because he can defend on d1, but my queen is also going on there. And mate him, okay? Well, let's play d4 this time. Let's see what I will gonna play. Probably c6, d5. There is much variation you can play. I will show Catalan defense here, just bishop g2, and I will sacrifice the pawn on c4. Okay. That's the main Catalan defense, when you are temporarily sacrifice the pawn on c4 and somehow you are taking back. Okay, c4 and then castle. And d3 can be moved to defend this d4. d5 is a little bit weak, but I think just if I try to attack, e6 will just protect this pawn really good. But if a4 gets some trade, that's a pin, but I don't know. Bishop is under attack and I have a position which I really wanted to have. This file is open for my bishop and my bishop will be so great in this position. That's why you don't need to bring all your figures there when opponent plays against the Catalan defense, and I'm going to queen b3 because this preventing him from castle, and if he castles somehow he will lose the bishop because that should be open check, and I'm doing this prevent castle because if I bringing my pieces in the middle of the board. Okay, let's sacrifice the rook because then time I can go my queen on d5 and his knight is under attack, his rook is under attack. Oh, hello Ogi, how are you? Do you wanna play or not? If yes, send me challenge, I can play. We can even take the knight on c5 because if somehow I run my queen, that should be under attack. I'm fine, huh? How are you? How's your day going? Okay, let's defend with a bishop, and I think I can try to bishop b2, try to trade these rooks here. I'm down exchange, but I have really good pawn structure, which I can use that as advantage, right? I had two figures against the rook, but because he checked me from d1, that's why my rook isn't there. I will say my figure. If I take, that should be lost. If I not take, I'm not sure. How can I get out from this? I would like to push this pawn, but because the bishop is defending that and also these white squares, what is he trying to do? He still can't do anything. Just let's try to bring on this piece's activity. That was the idea, right? Okay, let's tell not to take and see what will happen. My pawns can be tricky anytime, you know? Okay, just one mistake and winning position changes like losing. Okay, I don't know, let's resign. We will play another game with him. Try to win him this time, okay? Okay, that seems he's not playing yet. Okay, I did that right move. We have Sicilian, right? Also, he played very cool in that game. Okay, let me put my pawn on charge, no problem. Knight c6, and let's take, because my c6 pawn will hit. On the center, yes. If we check, just bishop back and castle after that. Probably he can check and play queen e2, just try to attack on it. I beat you probably 3 times. Yes. I counted that. 2 times in a row, right? I saw that in your YouTube channel. Okay, you know, Sniper Rook Chess is a chess editor. He's making some really good videos. Chess edits, like. You can subscribe if you want, or see his channel. Also some good openings that I saw. Okay, I'm offering. That's a pin. Probably bishop will protect that. And he can take the bishop, which he did. Let's take with a queen to not plunder this knight. He only know English, not Hindi. Yes, I don't know Hindi. I know Russian. If you will write Russian, I will understand. That international languages I understand, okay? He went back, so I would like to bring my rooks on the open file. I am trying to open so much files how I can and bring this on activity. Okay, he's trying to bring his knight somewhere, but because that's closed. Okay, I don't know what it means, but okay. Okay, bishop back, so let's kick the knight because that can be a little bit aggressive piece. Okay, I lead from that. That's why you don't need to let him pieces go activity there. See, I tried to push the knight, but bishop g3 just defending that c7 pawn. No problem, I will try to play b5. I don't want to trade piece there. Knight a5 is the national dish of Pamporistan from Pampolalanda. Pampalpola, what is it? I didn't heard that Pampalola, right? Okay, I took a pawn here, but he still can't bring his rook, which I'm happy to see that. Okay, what should I play? His bishop is under attack. Okay, he's not missing that because he's forcing to mate somehow, right? Let's protect, probably king f8 to still defend this position. I'm not so bad. I will try to go b5 and kick his bishop. Or probably, I'm not sure, because bishop b3, another freight there. Why your second rook is always gone? I don't like my rooks. I want to sacrifice that. Like the rook, yes? Okay, let's hang mate in one. Okay, tank and finish this game. Well, very bad. In the start of the stream, I will say, in the past, 1700 rating. When you see the start on that stream, you will see that I just lost 50 rating, right? Okay, lonely rook. Only lonely piece on chess, right? Like the knights, the bishops, and king and queen. But because I'm sacrificing the rook all the time, the rook is being on lonely. d5 can happen or not? I think not yet, but what if I castle? Early queen attack. Okay, I don't think queen c7 is a really attacking move, just some active position there, like Scandinavian defense when bringing his queen on that fifth rank or fourth rank. That should be early queen attack, but not in this position, I will say. I would like to go d5, but okay, that should be really tricky, see? Because I will lose a pawn there, but knight on g6 will be hang. So that should be right, I played that. I will try f4 because this anyway is defended very well. Okay, I didn't thought he would take because he already had really good pawn chain there. So I'm trying to deactivate that pawn chain and try to attack on his side, right? Probably because he's king in the middle. I will try to a4. If I take this pawn, a file will be open for me. If not, just if no, I can't sacrifice. I have to go back, but that's weakening some squares that probably can protectively for him, right? Let's take and then a8. Rook a1 can be a move, just open file. I need to bring that here. Okay, the knight is attacking over this position. And somehow he can't kick that knight, right? That's why that knight can make some trouble. To watching FIFA World Cup. Still not, but I will because because there are some I will say countries that's not playing so much good, like I will say Mexico only plays that played right, a really good game he played yesterday or the day before yesterday, I'm not sure. Just that's not really good game, I will say, for watching, but after some games I will follow that World Cup. That should be really funny, but I think France can win that World Cup, and also Spain has really good chances. Okay, probably he can check, and if I go back, which country do you think that will win that World Cup? Yes, my king is explodes. I think I'm gonna lose this. Okay, I just defended very well. If I move my king, that should be mate in wonder. What he did? Okay, he took the bishop. This e-file is open for me, and can I take material from there? I think bishop d5 is only move that will protect the knight. Okay, Portugal. Probably you like Ronaldo. Bishop d5 will just take this pawn and the knight will be protected, but if he moves the knight, just bishop is hang. What if I take with a knight? That should be with a check. Okay, let's take with the knight, because after that the knight on g3 is hang too. Okay, my time is low. Can I mate or not? King a8, only move. Okay, I mated him with 17 seconds on my clock. d5, yes. I like to bring all my pawns in that center and distract him pieces from the center, right? Because the pieces on the center are doing great job than some other way. Well made. Really good made, I will say. Because my clock was just so low at the time, and if I not mate, probably if I even take a queen, that should be really hard for me to take a win, because anyway, being down a clock, very hard that's to win. Okay, I'm trying to bring my pawn forward, and if it takes, just I'm trying to open this bishop. What is meaning of mate? I don't know, I will say. But that's also a very interesting question, you know? Why mate and not another? Sorry, I can't explain you that. At this time I will bring the rook on that c file, because that's open. And I need to take, right? I could even go back, but there is not something that can help me, just my pawns would be double. And that's all. Somehow you need to just double your pawns to open your rooks. Okay, really hard question. That's where I said we can't understand why mate is called mate. Yes? In the endgame, I think the bishop is a little bit good than the knight, because this position is a little bit open, like all the endgames in the world. So the knight is really good piece when you are playing in a closed position. That's why you need to keep bishops for that endgames, and I didn't give him that A file. Panda rarely made in zoo. What? What made? Okay, I'm in trouble or not? How can I defend this pawn? Ah, that's the only way, okay. I will bring my rook on c8, and I'm happy to see he hasn't let square bishop, so he can't hit my rook on that c8. I think he will try to defend this pawn from his bishop and bring his rook on b8, force me to take and make a new queen. Okay, he's playing that how I said. I will try to go near with my king. That should be a right idea. I will save this position, and probably I would have enough time to bring these pawns into the game, because side pawns are really dangerously in the end game than other central pawns, because central pawn is really close to the king, and that's very easy to protect. Okay, he can take the pawn, but even his passed pawn, which is only one square away from queening, that's also hang. Okay, rook a7, I thought about that, but that won't help him because he's attacking with all his pieces. And there is no just problem, just I don't lose that, okay? He is missing a fork, and that's really bad for him because he can't protect. Just there were positions that rook can go back and defend the figure. But not in this time because a3 is under attack. And that should be winning or not. Okay, even he could check, but what it will give to him? If a man named Per have a son, so we called his son Pers. Okay, really interesting. I'm not sure, but probably. Person son. I think that should be a little bit right for saying. Person son, right? He's blundering also his rook. I don't know why. Okay, he's trying to time me out, but you know how fast I am. Or how his time is low. Just check. And okay, you can take, but not a problem. That's already winning position for me. But his time has come. Okay. Knight f6. Magnus Carlsen is playing so much openings with knight f6, not d5 first, because knight f6 is preventing from a4. Okay, let's ruin this pawn chain. Okay, I won. I will win on the games. I wish I had do that because I'm losing in that last one move so much. I don't know how. Just I'm losing 300 and more rating. And that's a little bit hard to play in these times. I don't know how. Okay, let's take the knight because I brought my knight on a4. Just try to go f6 and not give him that d5. Oh, I don't like how I'm playing. I played so much good the other time than this, probably before 2 months. I just ruining the game, all the 2000 rated players. What happened to me? I can't say, I don't know. I don't say that about understanding. Just I'm playing like how I played in the past, but probably concentration and memorization is a little bit decreased. Probably, I'm not still sure. Okay, rook f1 from b1 should be good. Other time, like he's blundered his pawn on a6, right? Okay, I don't know that should be right square for my queen, but anyway, let's do that. If I go back, he will try a rook b1, try to repeat this position for draw, because he's down a pawn. The only way that I can get out from this is queen c4, but if queen c4, my pawn structure will be so bad. I am on a diet, don't say me things like that. No Coca-Cola and not thumbs up. No much sugar. I will say no sugar. Let's say no sugar. I'm not drinking any sort of juice or alcohol. That's the bad thing that I can do. Probably not the baddest, because smoking is a really bad. Then I will say alcohol. But sugar are very also not healthy, you know. And Coca-Cola is the typical sugar. I will say that half contains sugar. Okay, water. I'm drinking only water. There are some people that they are saying that's a little bit hard to drink only water, but that's me and some sportsmen. Also, I am doing some sort of sports, also on wrestling. So I will be on a diet, and my weight isn't need to be very much. For some tournaments, right? Because they are calculating from weight. Queen c2, because I am trying to use this diagonal. Probably in the future, when the c4 pawn will be on e5, I will try to do something about that, just like kick his bishop, okay? But the bad thing is that I think that's the baddest, that's the worst, I will say, is using boom, like that Gorilla or Red Bull. There were people that only he drank 2 bottles Red Bull and just he died. There is some person that is drinking 4 or 5 times in a day, and probably 1 month. That should be okay. But in the future, that should be really bad for them. So don't use that Red Bull or something. Coca-Cola is the least worst than that drinks, I will say. Find your worst move. Queen f2. Probably queen f2. I will create him for him past ponder. Also blundering a queen, why not? But that's very easy to find the best move. c4, because I could even try to trade the bishops, but because he will take with a f6 and double his pawns, and I will create him for that pawn chain. I didn't like that. What if c5? If he takes with a pawn, I have to take the rooks first and then the pawn, but I don't think he will do that because he would have so much isolated pawns there, you know? That's why he played d5, but he's gonna lose a pawn there. I can't understand why he did that, but anyway, probably to get his pieces a little bit out. But I can't understand how I'm down a pawn there. Okay, now that's actual because he blundered that pawn. And okay, I would like to go d6, but that can't happen for some reason. My rook is in a really huge attack. So other way I would like to defend with my queen, but that couldn't happen. Still I have no threat in his position. If I take, I will activate his rook. What should I play? Queen d3 and b5. Okay, his time is also low. And because his position is a little bit hard than mine, he will overthink there, right? Okay, probably I didn't need to go forward with my pawn, but because my time is up, okay, I have this open. Okay, can I win this or not? Okay, I won on time, but I think my pawn on h5 can create that, can make a queen there. That's why I would be happy that I should win that, right? Okay, let's defend with a bishop, and in the next move we can castle. The difference is that if I defend with a queen, if he not to take, just that should be blocked for my bishop on f1, but that's still okay. That's called early queen activation, and I am using all my pieces for attack on his position, especially the queen, and he needs to run. And because he's running his queen, I am activating so much pieces there. Like, see, he played 5 or 6 move with his queen, but his king side is still closed. That's why you need to kick the opponent's pieces and activate yours. Okay, I played aggressive, I will say. More aggressive just can't be. Let's take with a bishop, because somehow I can use this pin, and because his knight can't move, and if his queen moves so far, if I take, a6 will be weak, so at that position some players are bringing the queen and probably trying to mate from that square. Bishop a3, I don't want to deactivate it from d2. And what if a4, a5, a6, right? That's 3 move, I think, will destroy his position. Sack the queen. How can I sack the queen? Knight a5. Okay, I don't need that. I will just ruin his position. But somehow if I have that, I will do that, why not? I like that sacrifices. Okay, if I check, I don't need that, right? Okay, that was a really bad position, I will say. Because he's king in the middle, let's lose the pawn there. And also his bishop is under attack. Let's remove this defender, the knight. And we can create huge attack over his bishop. Okay, let's attack with the knight. c6 can be a move, but that's letting me check on b7 and a4. Bishop, he can't bring his bishop the way that should be protected. So I will trade the rooks, and in the next move I will take his bishop. So I would be up down a pawn, but see how my position is active, like all pieces are in that really much active squares, which I can't say about his kingside figures. Okay, he's letting me take that. Okay, and he's gonna blunder his knight too. I will take the knight with this rook, right? Because now I have overprotection on that 7th rank. Let's check, king c6. And is this mate? Bishop d6 or not? Okay, that's still not mate threat, but because I'm up a figure and his rooks are doing nothing there. Probably I need to just take another pieces, just let's be sure I won't lose one. Rook f5, just another pawns there. Okay, let's not lose that bishop. Okay, without the queen there is so much hard to win this game. If I had just one queen and bishop, I will give him this 33 points material for that. Because without the queen, just mate is really hard. Pawn star. Yes, why not? Really, pawn star. His pawns are the active piece, the most active pins in his position. Okay, let's check. King a4 and rook c1. Okay, why is he not resigning in this position? Just that should be mate, probably bishop a3, but that won't help him. Okay, he's even blundering that move. Why they are not resigning when we are down 8 or 9 points material there, and they will gonna be mating just 1 or 2 moves later. Okay, that's not need that sacrifice. I will say that's blunder. Okay, my position is active too, but there's some openings that you can sacrifice a pawn to get more activation. Disconnect rooks. You mean in this position? Okay, they just the 7th move for the game. Wait, I will connect that. You are saying right, I need to connect how much fast I can. And queen d2. Okay, that's your rooks. Bishop on d3 will be really great there. So, because his bishop on this diagonal doing great job, let's try to trade, because anyway I can't just move my bishop anywhere there. That should be on that really active square, right? So I will try knight d6, forcing him to take my bishop. I don't want to trade the bishops, that's why I'm doing this. Opponent already your pin his knight. Yes, probably. Probably he knows. Okay, and because our position is really good there, I will try to bring this bishop on f4, probably the rook on 7th rank. Okay, I didn't thought he would attack, but I will try to go c4 because he has really good defension on that d5. Let's defend c4 and also I'm attacking this pawn on h7. Can we sacrifice a knight there or not? Probably we can try to do that. How knight move? I don't know, but my knight is like to bring on that h6 or g7 sacrifice, but before that I need to bring my rook on that e-file. I can even try to attack on his bishop and queen. Okay, probably I will try to pin this, right? If he takes, that should be a mistake. Let's see if he gonna take or not. Okay, he took and his knight is under attack. If he moves that's a pin. Okay, he's not sacrificing the knight, but I think he will plunder that. Okay, I saw that moves like 5 or 6 moves before. Okay, he's gonna lose his knight, right? That's pin, so he would try to take this f2. But I knew in the past that he's gonna lose this if he took the pawn. I think you remember that I said if he takes the pawn, that should be final mistake he will do. And he did. Okay, I'm happy to see that. Let's play French-Sicilian defense. 5 French-Sicilian because c5 and then I'm trying to e6 to protecting some positions there. Bro fell. Yes, I will say bro fell so badly. Okay, now we are a little bit trouble because queen c7 to protect this. d5 is a little bit weak. Not a problem, just because my knight on h7. I will try to castle, but if I castle, he will take the knight. And I can't take because that's pin. If I take with a pawn, that should be hang. Okay, I can't take if he takes with a bishop, but also his 2 bishops are hang. Okay, another lonely rook there. Bishop b7, queen b8. I can't trap his bishop, right? Okay, he's not even trying to defend. Okay, I'm almost getting 1700, but very pity that my position is a little bit bad here. Not a little bit, but I think almost losing. I'm doing as my last brief. So sad. He will move his knight. Probably he's thinking, where can he move that? Okay, that's really nice time to resign. Lonely rook, yes. d3, very bad move, I will say. As white, you don't need to play a3 or d3 in the first 2 moves. I won't play that move in my whole life. What if this probably is trying to go f5? Mr. Lonely. Mr. and Lysis. Mrs. Loneliness. You saw my video I uploaded yesterday when I am saying that how can create some chess edits. You saw that or not? That's a really good video that I am telling them about how can create with a light motion. I did that video yesterday. In my channel, the latest video is that. Just only 13 viewers, that I didn't expect it, because the only problem is that no one is clicking that video, but if they are clicking, the medium watch time is really high than 13 viewers. You saw that video or not? If I remove the knights, f7 will be hang. What if I take with a queen? Because I'm threatening queen a3 check. Okay, he's trading, but the advantage that I has this e-file for my rook, and he needs to go back of g3 just to not plunder that pawn on h2. And c2 is hang, the rook is hang. Rook c1 is the only move to defend all that. Okay, f2 can even happen. But let's create another threat. I see after end of stream. Okay, I will be very grateful if you do that, because no one is clicking for that video and seeing, which is very sad, because I will say no one is telling them how to create. Oh my god. Okay, 1 minute.